Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Now then, folks, how y'all doing? Bit of a late one tonight. Laying in bed, twiddling my thumbs, believe it or not. And I thought, sod it. I can't sleep. I want to come in here for an hour or so and have a bit of a natter. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you've had a good Monday. Ian Brown, how you doing, buddy? Sure you're doing fantastic. Sure you are doing bloody brilliant and you'll let me know it. But guess what, Ian? 3 points behind you, mate. But we're doing bloody fantastic too. A late equaliser is heartbreaking. But my God, I'm proud of our side, as we should be as well, because we're performing at a really, really good level. A really, really good level. There's no but pride I'm feeling for my team at the minute, but we'll get into that. Adam, my mate, AG, evening, mate. Yeah, you may have swayed me to jump on tonight, to be fair. I do need to get back to doing a few more lives than I've been doing recently. But yeah, I'm here now, so we'll get into it. Hey, Bill, right now we are tough to play and not a cakewalk for anyone. 100%. Nice to see all members in here from IMBL WhatsApp group. Hey up, Nigel, hope you're doing well, buddy. Evening, my man, my guy, Nigel, hope you're well, buddy. Christopher Spofford Chapel, love the music on the startup. I need it on my Apple Music. You do? It's on Apple Music, mate. It should be on there. It should be on all music streaming platforms. It should be there. Have a look for it. But yeah. Oh, look, Eddie's in. Hey up, Super Leeds. How you doing? Evening, Matty lad. Was the concert any good? Simply Read It were brilliant, mate. And it also meant I got to miss the equaliser, which I'm not going to lie, I was happy about. I was happy that I missed it, but obviously I watched it back and, yeah, wounded. You'd be on the same points as us if you didn't concede last minute to Fulham and ball. Yeah, that's it, Ian. We've lost 3 points from winning positions from positions where of strength, dropping that point, that point we had in bank against Fulham late on, bit of a bad one, and then obviously this were probably worse, dropping 2 points at home. But all the signs are there that we're going to do well this season. I don't think anybody in the Leeds sort of sphere or Sunderland sphere, as I'm talking to you in here, have any worries about us still going down. I think Burnley are doing okay as well. Yeah, they got thumped by City, but they're hard to beat. They're taking some of the big sides quite deep into games. We've won all in that for a while into the second half. And I think they played 3 at big boys already in the opening 6 games. So fair play to them for getting 4 or 5 points, whatever they're on. We are definitely sticking it to the man. I did a video, I think, yesterday about I'd love all 3 of us to stay up. I quite like how the lazy journalism that's gone on all pre-season and into the season about, you can't stay up when you get promoted. It's looking like a load of bollocks and bullshit as I imagined it would. There was no way I felt all 3 were going to go back down. It was difficult to see more than one staying up just based on logic that everyone's saying that, we'll all struggle. But I think it's evident that Leeds and Sunderland will stay up. I know it's early days and all that, but I do think I'm massive on just judging what I see and not looking too much into what else. And I think you're seeing 2 sides that are definitely not in the bottom 3 in terms of quality or even results, what we're seeing. So I'm very, very happy where we are. Very, very happy. Yeah, I've seen a few people speak over the last couple of days about the Leeds have a problem. Is it a mentality issue? We're conceding late goals. This will come in if it carries on. Conceding 2, dropping points from winning positions, but like I say, positions of strength where you're going to get something from game. In injury time, 2 out of 6 games is it's not great, but The Fulham one were a freak accident that I think only happens one in every 100 times, if not more. And yeah, it's a set piece that stunned us against Bournemouth, but Bournemouth are a decent side, so I'm not gonna be too down-eyed about why. You know, a lot of people giving Farke stick for his subs. I think that's a bit harsh. There might be something in that, but I am gonna go down that route. I'm just immensely proud of what we're doing at the minute. Evening all, hey up Ina. Hope you're well, my friend. We would be on more if we had Sunderland's schedule. I love that, Bill. Yeah, they've had an easier start than us, but we are. We're doing some really good stuff. We really are. All right, 1 meter, Matt. Is that what you're going to call me now? 1 meter, Matt. You do realise Content Creators Cup were like 2 months ago, right? And you know that 1 meter, 35 yarder that I tapped in. I mean that screamer. It was a long time ago, mate. There were several late goals on Saturday. It seems to be a thing. Yeah, I was saying this to my mate today, Steve. I think it's just where how football is, you know, these days. I mean, you're getting usually, 6-7 minutes of injury time pretty much every game now. Plus, the way football is, you know, if you've got a lead, naturally you fall back and you invite pressure onto yourself. I think it's fairly natural. So I kind of look at it now, and if there's a goal in the game, you know, we're sitting at Brentford 2-1 up. You know, Leeds 2-1 up. I kind of feel like going into that last couple of minutes and then injury time, you get to 89th minute, you've still probably got, you know, close to 10 minutes left. And I feel like the pressure eventually, you know, sort of tells. And a lot of time they either go 3-1 up, like Brentford did a breakaway goal because they're pushing so many people forward, or you do concede that goal, that equaliser, which unfortunately we did. But yeah, it's happening loads, mate. And every game, every sort of like, you know, list of fixtures you look at, whether it's Premier League or, you know, Championship or League One, you look at results and you look at, there'll be loads of 90-minute goals, 90-minute plus goals, loads, mate. Last kicks at game, and sometimes a couple of goals in injury time. Nigel, I went to have a quick look at JJ, Just Joe, final word. Panels, Paul, well done, Matt F4. Oh, bloody hell, Nigel. Didn't even get a notification today. Well, I've only just threw this on, Brett. I've only just threw this on. Yeah, I've only just threw it on. Literally about 5 minutes before I went live. What I will say is I put 2 videos up today already. My little natters that I like to have in the car. And yeah, they've only got like 100 views a piece, which is strange, but I think it's just the algorithm. Like I've said it a few times, I don't want to bore you with it. But there's definitely, my videos definitely are getting pushed out to you guys, or you guys just start watching them more because you think they're shit, which is fine if that's the case, but I don't think that's the case. I hope it's not the case. Yeah, let's Nige and Sean, let's just curb it on that on here, yeah, lads. But yeah. Sunderland and Leeds are showing all the so-called experts that writing us off was just lazy, 100%, Brett. And I will hammer that drum all season long, and I will be buzzing if all 3 of us stay up, buzzing if Leeds stay up, regardless of everybody else. But it would be lovely to send 3 established Premier League sides, you know, all the precious Premier League sides. But yeah, I think the too good and we're shite because we got promoted and all that shit. You know where I'm coming from with that. Burnley will give it a good go, but I don't think. Yeah, I think Burnley go down, Ian. I would suggest Burnley will go down, but it would be nice, you know, for all 3 of us to stay up. But I'm not gonna lie, I tip Burnley to finish bottom, and I probably would expect them to do it. But just finish. Downloaded the album. There you go, Christopher. Quality. Get that played, mate. Get that played. Yeah, imagine not being Leeds on all streaming platforms. Evening, Matt. Evening, all. Hey up, Ryan. Up you well, mate. Steve, we must learn to keep going the whole game. Yeah, well, that is something, you know, if it happens time and time again, like I say, it's happened in a third of his games, 2 out of 6. It will set in. It can be a negative, and you look at it and think there's some of them, a mentality issue, a fatigue issue. But it's hard for me to really say no, because the Fulham thing was just a freak, like I say, and the Bournemouth goal. Yeah, they're giving the free kick away. Tanaka, well, the sub's right. Strout don't get to his header. You know, a couple of players. Ampadu switches off at that back post and leaves his man free. There's a calamity of errors in there ultimately that lead to them scoring. But it's hard for me to be anything but gutted, but proud. But yeah, it's something you don't want to creep in. That's for sure. You don't want it to creep in. I've said before on this channel, you know, last season we were mentality monsters at times. I think as football is way above. I think the way we play in football at the minute about Arsenal is way above the level you see from a newly promoted side. I think like against Bournemouth, yeah, they're a good side. First half, they had a lot of ball, didn't really create many chances. They probably played the better football than us in the first half, did Bournemouth. Yet we created the bigger and better chances. On another day, I don't want to say this every week, and I do think he'll miss chances. But on another day, DCL gets at least 2 goals in that game. I think the one through on goal, it comes too early for him. I think there was one where he made a really good save in the box when it gets fired across and he gets his foot to it and it's just not in corner enough. But he does well to get on it. Does DCL? He gets on target. Keith makes a really good save. Them two, I'm not going to be too. He will put one of them away on another day. But I think the header from Aronson's sort of like bicycle kick, cross pass shot thing, whatever it was, right into his path. That was the one I was a bit more gutted about, because you look at the header he did away at Wolves, had to generate so much power from a distance to get in that top corner. This one felt like a massive, easier chance as well. And for DCL's quality in the air, I'm surprised he didn't get anything other than just a meek little touch on that. But honestly, I absolutely love DCL. If you love, I mean, grew up in my area, a lot of us will be saying with some absolutely fantastic number 9s. And then you go through an era now, don't you, where you've got, like 9.5s playing up front on their own, like we've had Pido, then you look at, we've had Bamford, who was a 9, granted, but he was never my kind of 9, if you get what I mean. You look at DCL and he is I'm looking at DCL, I'm like, he's the 9 we've been crying out for fucking years. Yeah, he'll miss your chance. If he was a prolific goal scorer and, absolute 9 out of 10 every performance, it would be a £50 million signing going to Arsenal, which he was touted for 3, 4, 5 years ago. It would be that level, and we wouldn't be at Leeds United. So there's going to be some frailties to his game. But I think as an all-round number 9, I think he's just exactly what the side needs. And I love how we've adapted and we're using his strengths. At times we're playing really good football. There were times against Bournemouth where we were playing it through the lines. We were building up from the back, passing out from the back. Really like it when we do that, and we do it well. We keep the ball really well, really neat and tidy. They were pressing us into oblivion at times. So what did Darlow do? Let's go along. And with DCL, he wins almost every ball. And it's not just the case if he gets up to it, DCL, and flicks it on, and he, goes through to their goalkeeper or goes out for a corner, a throw-in. He gets up, he wins that first ball. And a lot of the times, the percentages are saying that the ball's finding a Leeds player, and then we're able to start our attack in their half, and it's just such a great outlet. He's so good in there. And for all the laughs and jibes and all the stuff we got said from other fan bases, some of you Sunderland fans in here didn't want him and laughed at us for signing him. And don't get me wrong, a lot of Leeds fans didn't mind having him, but not as main number 9. Nobody, when we signed DCL, or a lot of the Leeds fans, didn't want him to be as number 9, wanted him to be a squad player and get minutes, but wanted us to go out there and get a statement signing. I've got a feeling come the end of the season, we'll all be saying Calvert-Lewin was one of the most important signs we've made. And I expect him to get in around 10 goals, maybe a few more. But I expect him outside the goals. We used to talk about Bamford's work and what he brings to it other than goals. I think DCL is going to bring, that and some. I think he's such a good player. And I think he just complements the side so well. And to hear Farker talk about him as, he's coming in, he's just sort of taken the mantle of being like a leader within the group. I love that. Was a shame. Yeah, that's how I look at Richard as well. It's hard, isn't it? Because you sort of make an agreement with yourself before a game of, yeah, I'm happy. If we get a point today, I'm buzzing with that. But obviously there's ways in the, if we get the equaliser into 90th minute, you're on cloud 9. But you get the same points whether you do that or you concede it. But it is just, it was a bit of pill to swallow, because it was definitely one of them games where, yeah, Bournemouth are good. To take a point off Bournemouth home or away, you're happy with that. But we were the better side. And I'm sure if I spoke to a Bournemouth fan now, they'd say that, yeah, they're going to have moments. They've got really good players. They've got a better side than Leeds United. They have, got a better manager than Leeds United. Some may disagree, but I'd have to say Bournemouth are in a better place than Leeds United. I think that's evident. But we were the better side on the day. We played better football than them, I think, at times. We had the best chances. And I think on the balance of play, Leeds deserve 3 points. It's not one of those games where you go, on reflection, it's fair, a point apiece. It wasn't. Absolutely wasn't. We deserved all 3 points. So sometimes you don't get what you deserve, do you? Would love all 3 to stay up to stick it to the Dows. That's it. Stick it to the man. Some of them look sharp tonight. Nuno will turn West Ham around. Yeah, he will, Nige, which is a shame for us. Hopefully he doesn't turn it around too fast, because we've got him in 3 or 4 weeks, I think. think we haven't we? That's our next home game after Tottenham, Burnley away, West Ham at home. Ian Brown, relegation rivals will lose against other relegation rivals, which won't set the bar too high to stay up. In my opinion, I reckon 30 to 39. I don't think there'll be someone at the bottom that'll be in, on 20 points. I think it'll be a lot tighter. But I think if we're getting in around 30, 38, 39, I think we're safe. But I believe, both of us could be maybe into 40s the way we're going. I think Leeds can beat Spurs and Sunderland, get a point against Man United this week, going in the international break on a high. Yeah, I mean, we're playing Spurs at home. You're playing Man United away. Again, Brett, another really easy game for Sunderland, playing Man United currently. And that's sort of like a little bit of, fun intended there. But genuinely, I ain't even lying. You've probably got one of the easiest fixtures. That ain't me being a dick either. Just genuinely, they are shy at a minute. I expect you to go Man United and not get beat. I actually expect you to. Tottenham at home, I'd take a point now. Can we beat Spurs? We can. We play like that and they have a bit of an off day. We can. Do I expect to beat Spurs? No, I don't. Very similar feelings to Bournemouth. A point I bite your hand off. Chances are, if anyone's going to win it, it's Spurs, just based on the talent. But I firmly believe at Elland Road we can beat anybody. So Spurs, why not? Why not? And you know me, as the week goes on, I'll be tipping a 2-1, 3-1, 4-1 win what for Leeds. You know me. That's definitely coming. Definitely coming. Not sure why we had subs on Sat. Why not sub in defence to kill the game? Yeah, Bill, I ain't going to harp too much on about that. I think against Wolves, they did the same. Against Wolves, they took Aronson off and brought on Tanaka on that right wing. And I don't think it's a case of eating a winger. No, he's there to kill game off. It's an extra body. It's a midfielder who can hold the ball, who is defence minded. We all look at Tanaka and think he's creative player, which he is. But last season he had moments where he's a defence minded midfielder and he's winning the ball back, starting attacks. Solid breaking play up, and I think to get in there and just his tenacity and his press and his pace and his energy, I think he's a great person to bring on late in the game as Tanaka. It worked at Wolves. You could see him pressing the Wolves into oblivion, before end of the game. I think it can work. The fact he was a little bit eager and gave away the free kick, which leads to the goal. It's easy to turn around and go, well, what are you doing with subs? I've seen a few people, slating the Metcha sub on for DCL. I kind of just think that is a sub that will happen most games. I agree that maybe in a situation like that, Bill, if you look at bringing on another centre-half, problem with this is you're probably looking at it thinking, how do I bring on Biol in 90th minute when he hasn't played no minutes? Talk about bringing a player on cold. I've seen a lot of pundits and a lot of other people say you shouldn't sub on a free kick or a corner. You're bringing in someone in that moment where they've got to be, switched on and up to the pace of the game, and they're just getting thrown into a dead ball situation where it's coming into the box. And I do think bringing a centre-half on does work, but I just think because it would have been Biol, I don't think it were needed because he hasn't played no football, and talking about coming on cold, he would have been cold. But I think in normal circumstances, that's what you would probably see happen. You bring a centre-half on or a defender on to help clear, when you're up against it and you're under the cosh like we were for that last 20 minutes. But I ain't going to slate the decisions of the subs because Tanaka's good enough to come on for a few minutes in this league and hold on to the ball and do his job to make sure we get the points. Metch has been brilliant this season in his role of coming on, and he does a Calvert-Lewin sort of role, just not as good. He can hold the ball up. He's a tall lad. He puts his weight about. I like Metch. Wins free kicks. He's nowhere near as good as DCL, but he's got a lot of the same qualities that can be advantageous to us as a team. So I didn't mind the subs. And if you don't make the subs and we concede late, which could have still happened, then you're all saying, why did he make no subs? Do you know what I mean, Bill? So I agree that going forward, in a situation like you probably bring a centre-half on just to clear your lines, another big body in there. But I think because it's Biol and he ain't getting games, he's cold, it's hard to bring him on. Other side of that is flip side of that is, well, when's he ever gonna get game time if he don't come on? So it's a bit of an hard one with someone like Biol. It was a hospital pass that Tanaka received him. Yeah, it was, to be fair, mate, it was. Where we are in the league by January will determine who we will be able to sign, because if one of us in the relegation places, that's not going to lure someone. No, I mean, I don't expect us to do much in January, Ian. You guys, I would assume you probably can't. But knowing you guys, you'll spend 100 million in January. I don't really know your limitations, but I would assume surely what you've spent, but you'll probably tell me you've still got 100 million to spend, which if you have fair play. But I don't expect Leeds to do much. Maybe we'll have an outgoing or two, which might free up a bit more funds. We'll have to see. I think if we're plodding along nicely, there's no need to spend that money. We had it last season in January. We were dying to sign a couple of players in January just to get us over the line. We held off and ultimately we went up without having to do business, which worked out better for money. It allowed us to have more money this season. So I think if they think they can get through without spending, we've seen it with 49ers before, we just won't spend. And like I say, it allows us to do more in other windows. And if we don't get many injuries, Ian, I don't think we'll need to bring anyone in. I'm really happy with what we're seeing at the minute. Currently, I think Sunderland might beat Salford United this week. Yeah, definitely. Christopher, think Harrison was very good Saturday. Showed when Tanaka came, it was the wrong call. Like I say, if you don't make the subs and the concede, people are probably complaining too. But I've heard a lot of people say that. Aronson, I think, has been good for last two games. I didn't really like him at Fulham. I think Wolves and Bournemouth, I think he's done really well. I think you're seeing a bit more attacking intent from him too. We know what he does off the ball. He's no point boring everyone with that way all the time. He's one of the most hard-working players, in the league, probably just for work rate. But I actually like what I've seen with him on ball too, Christopher. I think he's done all right. Like I say, he almost got a great assist there for DCL with that overhead kick, whatever it was. It was a very faint touch on it, but I tell you what, he put it into a lovely area for DCL to get a Swede on, but unfortunately couldn't put it away. We could have put Justin on the right to close. Yeah, to be fair, you could have done. You could put Justin on, couldn't you, on that right wing? Yeah, 100%. That's a great shout, Steve. He could have done. Again, maybe it just comes out of game time. Maybe it comes out of trust. If we're talking about, he could have brought Dan James on. Ultimately, he's a right winger who puts himself about and could catch him on break to get a third goal. So you look at that from that point of view. Maybe it's just a trust thing. He just trusted Tanaka to come on and see game out. But for me, I don't want to throw too much on Tanaka. He gave away a free kick just in front of the halfway line. Like, I'm quite happy at that as a manager. Maybe he's not, but you give a free kick away, you can say it's naive and all that, and you're giving him an opportunity to pump it into box. I get that. But also, you've got all your players in box ready to head it out, and it's down to you then to clear your lines. I think it's not like he's scored no goal or done a dodgy back pass or done anything too bad. He's given him an opportunity to pump into a box, yeah, but we also had an opportunity to head that ball clear. So as daft as it may seem to some, just in my opinion, which it may be wrong to others, but in my opinion, I don't mind it sometimes. You set one for team there, and then you go, right, let's get a set again, and then we clear this ball when it comes in. It just didn't work. There was still a lot to do from him fouling to that ball getting it back at net, still a hell of a lot to do. Yeah, it could be. It could be Richard. We're seeing it go all right a minute, but yeah, it could be. Yeah, he's not a right winger. You'll never see Tanaka playing right wing for any longer than the last 5 minutes of a game. For whatever reason, Farker likes him coming on. I don't know if it's just to make the pitch a bit narrow when he comes in. It's like an extra essential midfielder to pack out that midfield. I don't know what it is, but you're never going to see Tanaka start on right or come on for half an hour as a right winger. That's not going to happen. But for some reason, to see a game out, the last 2 games, he's made that sub. And I understood it at Wolves because there were no Nonto, there were no James. And I didn't really understand it against Bournemouth because there was Dan James. Maybe it's a fitness thing. He could have brought on James Justin, like someone's just said there, but maybe then it's a trust thing because he doesn't know him that well. There's a few factors in it, but you won't see Tanaka play on the right wing as such. It's just, he must just trust him and think, right, he can go out there and see game out, but it didn't work on this occasion. Emotional game week, great family reunion. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how many minutes Archie plays, if he plays, won't it? Hopefully they'll have Harry on the bench, even without a view of him coming on. It'd just be nice for me to be part of match day experience with Archie playing or being in the squad, and all the family, I assume, will be there at Elland Road. It'd be nice for Harry to be involved. Teams we have played haven't really created many clear-cut opportunities other than Arsenal. No, they aren't, Christopher, you're right. Say two set-piece goals. When you look at actual clear-cut opportunities, the only real ones that sort of like stick out to me was the Fulham game, because I feel like in the Fulham game, Darlow had to keep Fulham out before they ultimately scored. So I would say Fulham stands out as whoa, a couple of good shots, a couple of really good saves by Darlow. There'll be more in there, obviously, but I do think you're right with that. You know, Newcastle didn't carve us open, Everton didn't carve us open. Bournemouth got in really good positions, like really good positions, played really good football, got in behind a little bit, got into that little pocket of space behind Ampadu and in front of defenders, pulled Strauch out of position a few times. Very smart team. But in terms of clear-cut chances, we limited them. Say, bar Fulham, I don't think we've had many games where, as keepers, had to make multitude of saves. I don't. If we would have drawn with Fulham and beat Bournemouth, we would be right. But yeah, Richard, we've had 3 more points. We're currently, 12th? We joined 8th. Got the same amount of points as 8th. Yeah, goal difference is a factor, obviously, but we are currently on the same amount of points as 8th. You look at the teams we're above, it's been a great start. We'd be joint with Sunderland now, top 4, top 5, but we are still only 3 points off. You know, everyone's saying we're absolutely smashing it. So for me, it's been a great start. I think you've seen a mixture of really good performances. The players, there's a group now, a core group of new players. You know, the new players we've signed who look like absolute ballers, which is great because our signing 10, 11 players. There's a handful that we're not sure on. You know, you mentioned we haven't seen Biol, the Perry. There's question marks against him. There's a few in there you're like, oh, Justin, have we wasted money? I don't think we have, because you need a squad. You have to have them there just in case. Hopefully they're not needed. Hopefully we get to end the season and Bornau's not played a minute. James Justin's not needed to play a minute. That may sound harsh, but hopefully that means Bogle's played every game. That means, you know, Biol, Strauch, Rodon have all coped, and we haven't had to utilise a squad, which you do need to create squad harmony and all that. We've seen in previous seasons, there's been a lot of players not get minutes, and that has it's led to, let's say, Ramazani going out, or Cresswell going out, or Jayden Anthony not getting enough minutes. Sometimes you've got to utilise your squad. Is our squad good enough, big enough to utilise if needed? We'll have to see. But our starting 11 currently, I think now we now know our best 11. I'd say that's evident. That right wing spot, for me, it would still be a Nonto or a Dan James starting over Aronson, but I'm quite comfortable with Aronson in there at the minute until he does something for me to change my mind. I think we're seen as strongest 11 just about now, especially from, you know, goalkeeper to defence to midfield, and then obviously that left wing and your striker. It is really just that right wing where there's a bit of a difference in opinion, obviously. But I think we now know pretty much our best 11. And I think if that can stay relatively fit, then I think we're absolutely fine. I think we'll be absolutely fine. I think we're way, way above the 3 worst sides in this division with that side. We had no need to shut the game down. Should have kept. Yeah, well, I'm big on this win. I'm big on the best, you know, form of defence is attack. Just keep attacking. Keep doing what's got you 2-1 up. I'm a massive believer in that. But I just think naturally Bournemouth are that much of a good side. And you do just retreat a little bit, which you shouldn't do, but you do. You know, we did it against Fulham. We kind of accepted, we'll take a 0-0 and it bit us on arse. And this one did too. Disappointing, but I ain't going to lose my head over it, because what I'm seeing, the way we're playing, I'm really excited by it. I'm loving how we can play, you know, fluid football, passing out from the back. I'm loving how we can play long ball, be direct. I'm loving how Okafor, Stack, Longstaff, DCL, Goodmanson. What a baller he is, by the way. Was that 4 or 5 players? 5 players look elite. They look so good. I say we were a little bit unsure about us, you know, some of his new signings. You've got to look at them now and go, Longstaff, Stack, Goodmanson, those 3 are arguably Leeds United's best 3 players now. And I'm a massive Rodon fan, huge Bogle fan. I think I probably say Bogle's probably his best player still, based on what we've seen. But you know, when you look at it, you can't deny Longstaff, Goodmanson, DCL, Okafor, Stack. You can't deny those 5 are up there as our best players. And that's brilliant. So all of a sudden, that we spent 100 million on 11 players. Oh, I'm not too sure. 50% of those new signings look like they're at it. You know, they look absolutely mint. They've just come in and they've just seamlessly, you know, bedded in already. And we were only 6 games into the season. Okafor's only a few games really getting into it, and he's already started to show signs of this is why we bought him. The side are naturally looking to Okafor, and like we did Rafinha, like we did Somerville, because they know he can make things happen. And Longstaff in midfield at the minute just seems a joke. Any of you Sunderland fans in here who maybe took piss thinking he's a poor signing, he's an absolute joke. That lad is an absolute joke. Such a good player. I think, a lot of sides have an underrated player. And I think a lot of people outside Leeds will underrate him. And I think at times at Newcastle, they were always underrated to a degree. I don't think there's one Leeds fan that underrates Longstaff now. He's one of those players who, goes about his business and he can be underrated, but he stood out at Leeds like a sore thumb this last few weeks. And Tanaka's a baller. Tanaka's getting nowhere near this side currently for Longstaff. Nowhere near. Bournemouth were the better team until they went 1-0. The way we responded was spot on. We were the much better team from then on, just switched off in injury time, feeling confident about Spurs. Yeah, I love that. Love that, Eddie. Rich Sullivan, hey, mate. Evening, Matt. I thought we were great on Saturday. Really good in the game. Really impressed the DCL. He literally won everything in the air. Reckon we get something with Spurs. Yeah, me too. I think DCL, mate, is you see other people say stuff and laugh and say stuff, don't you? And I seen him before he signed for Leeds. He did a YouTube channel on an interview, didn't he? With is it some performance, high performance on that channel, and he was speaking on there about he believes he can get back in England squad. And I was looking at comments on the channel and people laughing. You're nowhere near. You wait and see. 28-year-old playing that well. If he can stay fit, why can't I play for England again? Absolutely loved his performance. Loved it. Just missing a goal. And unfortunately, he probably should have had one. That's the only negative you can say about DCL. And he'll know that. But getting in the positions to have those opportunities is really that's what I'm looking at, and I'm really enthused by that because he's getting in those positions. Hey up, Rysel. Hope you're well, mate. Matty, great to catch you on live. I had to check out of socials for a couple of weeks. World went mad and I need to clear my head. Watched the lads and stayed off socials. Great last vid, by the way, MOT. Thanks, mate. Thanks so much. I hope you're all right anyway. Hope everything's good. I understand that sometimes, mate, we need to unplug, don't we? I struggle a bit doing this. I'm constantly on the go with socials and YouTube and that, but I enjoy it, but sometimes it does get too much and you have just got to unplug sometimes. So hope everything's all right anyway, mate. And at least Leeds are doing the business at the minute. But yeah, thanks for that message, mate. I appreciate it, buddy. Their manager summed up the levels between the two sides. He admitted we were very hard to beat and was lucky to get the draw. Yeah, did Steve. You could see he's got admiration for Leeds. You can see it. Arsenal didn't cut us apart, just press. Yeah, I agree with that. Nice, to be fair. They were clinical. I think they had 5 shots on target and they all went in, didn't they? They were clinical. Pressed into oblivion. Made us cause mistakes in our back line and punished us ruthless. With just ruthless efficiency. And that's what you've got to remember in the Premier League. And I think we've had a harsh lesson in the Fulham game and this game that you have to take the chances you get given or the chances you create. High level chances, they're so hard to create, they're so hard to make in the Premier League. If that's a championship game last season, we win that 2-1, or we get them at break and win 3-1. Probably beat them 4-0, let's prepare a championship game, but we see that game out in championship. Premier League, if you don't take those chances like DCL, one of them chances you have to take and the game's done at 3-1. You don't do that and you leave the door open for a Premier League side. We're seen with harsh bad luck against Fulham, and then you see not even a moment of quality, but just a quality side going till the last kick, and you just punished. You just punished. The margins are so fine. As a newly promoted side, you need to take advantage of every situation. And I think to score 2 goals at home, it's decent. But when there were as many big opportunities as it felt there were at times, we should have had 1 or 2 more goals in that game. And at that point, it is game over, and there's no way back for them. We kept the door slightly open for them, but these things are going to happen. Still unbeaten at home. 3 games. Look at the 3 teams we played at home. Everton, Newcastle, and Bournemouth. Bournemouth, top 4 side currently, will finish in top 10. Everton have been unbelievable since Moyes has been there. For me, will finish in top 10. And obviously, Newcastle, I know they're struggling at the minute, but based on the side and where they've been last few years, they are a top 6 side. Will they finish in top 6 this season? We'll have to wait and see. But again, they'll finish in top 10. And we've played better than all 3 sides, I'd say. 2 draws and a win. Granted, I seen someone messaging me earlier saying, yeah, but you were lucky against Everton, fortuitous penalty. Yeah, but we still got the 3 points. I don't really care how we get them. Played well against Everton. In my opinion, deserved to win that game too. I think they were all in Newcastle one where you look at it and go, yeah, it's a fair point that. But I'm buzzing, absolutely buzzing. how things are going at the minute. Really am. So happy. I honestly thought and said on a few channels that I thought Bournemouth would be a harder game than Spurs, and look what happened. That's why I think you will beat Spurs. Maybe, Brett. Maybe it's a few people have said that. A few people have said Bournemouth will be harder, and as level were great. Played so well. Richard Woodford, please subscribe and hit the like button. Let's get Matty to 4K. Cheers, Richard, mate. A long way off yet, mate. Still 300 to go. But where YouTube's playing at the minute, it'll be very hard to get there. But I'll tell you what, who cares? Who cares? I've got all your regulars that come and watch all the time, and I fucking love it. I promise you, I'll start doing a few more lives. I've not gone off them. I've not been doing as many lives lately. No real reason, really. Just, I suppose, fatigue and tiredness. And I've been enjoying doing the little 10-minute videos whenever someone's to talk about at work. I really enjoy doing that. You know, I'm having a little lunch break, I'll have a drink, do a quick video, set it all up. It usually takes about an hour or so to upload while I'm at work. Bang it in my pocket, go back to work, and it's uploading while I'm working. I quite enjoy them. And then sometimes I find at night there's no else to talk about. But yeah, I'll see how we get on. But I do need to do a few more of these one-on-one streams because I absolutely love this. And now there isn't as many people watching, it's so much easier for me to get through comments. Would Pirro have finished them chances? DCL, I think it's difficult pill to swallow. DCL misses a lot of chances, but does hard. Yeah, you know what it is? Would he miss the chances? You know what I'll say, Sean? I don't think he gets into the position to have the chances. I'll be honest with you. The header that Aronson flicks in, he's not there for that for me. The one-on-one with keeper, maybe he puts that away. But yeah, it's about getting in the right areas for me, and he does drop too deep at times. And you know the way Leeds play now, it'd be so difficult to watch us go back to Pirro. Which I hope Pirro gets minutes. You know, I like him. He's a goal scorer. He's an honest player. He tries hard. You know, we talk about other players that try hard. Pirro works hard. He looks lethargic at times. He's got that sort of laid back sort of vibe anywhere. He gets a bit of stick at times, but yeah, he's a hard worker. Is Pirro for me? I think that. But imagine us now if we started Pirro on Saturday, the difference would just be chalk and cheese. It'd be night and day. We'd look so off it just by changing that one player because it just does not give you anything that DCL gives you. If we lose DCL to injury, I'd be concerned because you can see him now just getting up to fitness. Keeping DCL fit now is probably the most key position because you could argue Ampadu, Bogle, love them. Stack, long, better quality players around team, Okafor and stuff like that. But I feel like every single position has potentially got an okay replacement. So if you lose Stack, you're gutted, but Tanaka could come in. If you lose Ampadu, Tanaka can come in, or a Gruev. Same with Longstaff. You lose Okafor. If you've got Nonto and you've got James, you've got a bit of cover there. If you lose Bogle, we have Justin there. If you lose Gudmundsson, you have Justin there. Centre half be all. I feel like we've got cover pretty much everywhere. If you lose DCL, and I'm a big Metcha fan, I like Metcha, but I do feel like that's from what we're seeing from DCL these last few games. If that is his level now, which I'm buzzing if that's his level, if we can get that sort of performance at DCL week in, week out, I do feel the drop to Metcha feels quite heavy, you know. And don't get me wrong, the drop from a Bogle to a Justin does too, you know, obviously. But I just feel like it's so important for getting us up the pitch that the difference would be huge. There's an argument now in my head currently as I sit here today on Monday night that DCL's our most important player at the minute. He's right up there just from how good he's been these last two games. He's been unbelievable. And I hope you all feel the same because I can't see how you can't. I think it's been that obvious that he's a kind of striker we need, and the Pirro experiment won't work for me anymore. Hey up, Angela, and everyone. We nearly predicted a riot on Saturday. Hopefully this Saturday we will. Hopefully we will. I'm in Posh Suite. I'm in hospitality with Adam Priestley and Mr. Wilco White, Sean Carney. Adam's treated us. Told you, but he had a butler and they were rich, didn't I? He's treated us all to Eddie Gray Suite, proper posh, on Saturday. So we're doing a vlog from the Eddie Gray Suite. Get to see what I'm having for me. I see me dinner. It really is dinner brunch. Yeah, well, early, innit? 12:30 kickoff. Adam's fuming. They've dropped it from 5:30. But looking forward to it. I predict a riot. I predict a diet after my 5-course brunch. Cat's out of the bag. on this young wonder kid. So much to work in silence and behind closed doors. Yeah, and it is. Yeah, we'll see what comes of that. We'll see what comes of it. It looks a really good player. Stats don't back it up, G&A, but underneath those underlying stats, there's some really good positives there. 20-year-old, I really like the look of him. I'm sure with Pirro's championship record, you can sell a top chance. Yeah, maybe, mate. I was sort of looking at that, thinking if Pirro isn't still getting minutes by January, is that something they can look at doing to, sort of help us with our PSR and having a bit more freedom to go spend it elsewhere? I watched the first 45 minutes against Bournemouth. How the fuck did DCL not score at least one? Gives off Will Grigg League One vibes. No, mate, he don't. But yeah, how he didn't score at least one of them, I agree. The United game will give us a reality check, and it will put the last nail in the pocket for. Yeah, well, I'm a bit torn with this one because I don't want him to get sacked, and I think if you beat him, he's getting sacked. But I can't chase come on either, so I'm going to cross my fingers for a 1-1 draw or a 0-0 or whatever. A point apiece, which you'll be buzzing with a point at Old Trafford, I would imagine. Although you could go win that game, without a doubt. Match with Sean, one of my wild takes. I think Leeds have one of the best defenses. Sean, I can't disagree really with that. Stats say otherwise. We've conceded a lot of goals. A lot of goals. 5, 2 at weekend, 7. 1 against Fulham, 8. Is that it? 8? 9, 1 at Wolves. 9, I think we've conceded 9 in 6. It's a lot of goals, is that, yeah? 5 come in one game. You take them out, it's 4 in 6. It's not too bad. We've played some good sides. But I think outside, you look at the Goodmanson goal, own goal, a couple of set pieces in there. You look at it and you go, yeah, what we're talking about, Sean, won't we? We can't score from open play. I feel like we're really hard to score against in open play too. Apart from a free own goal and a couple of set pieces, take the Arsenal out, we haven't really conceded. There's that one at Wolves, isn't there? Other than that, like from open play, we look really difficult to score against. So the stats will say you're wrong, but the eye test, Sean, I agree. Matty, are you still favouring Metcha as your striker? DCL fully fit as a game changer. Yeah, no. Before we signed DCL, I did a show, didn't I? You'll remember, Andy. You bloody remember everything, you. I did a show, didn't I, where I had my hot sort of topics for the season. I think it says our best strikers currently at Leeds, and all we had were Pirro and Metcha, because I backed Metcha massively, and I thought Pirro would get in and around the goals. Before we signed DCL, DCL's better than both of them, without a doubt. I think I also predicted we'd concede less than 55 goals or 50 goals, which would be a decent season for a newly promoted side compared to what they usually get. I think we'll do that. But yeah, DCL's a lot better than Metcha. But I like what Metcha offers, and I've got no qualms with Metcha playing minutes. But I would be gutted if DCL were out for any long period of time. John Parr, all right, my mate. Alderete, McAleer, Royf and Xhaka just in front is fucked. No promoted team should have a spine like that. Yeah, well, they've got a pretty good spine. So have Leeds, though. But yeah, you they've got some great players. The goalposts have moved. They've changed this season. They have changed. So we talk about the gulf of quality, don't we? And everyone just saying, Championship to Premier League, it's just a massive gulf. And I get it to a degree, right? But not all the time. Like every season, different depending who comes up. I mean, you got to think. People may not rate, but Leeds United in the Championship had Manor Solomon last season. That's a class player. You've still got Gus Hamer. Gus Hamer in bottom 3 positions in Championship. Gus Hamer is another one at weekend, but nearly a foot of Championship. There's some great players and great teams, and like you said, Sunderland have come up and they've got Granit Xhaka, who a couple of years ago were going unbeaten for fucking 500 fucking years with Bayer Leverkusen, and now he's at Sunderland. The goalposts have moved a little bit. There is quality. You go back 20 years and you're looking at someone newly promoted. I remember Ipswich coming up and having Marcus Stewart score, 18, 20 goals, whatever they were. Like, who's this guy? You look at the rest of the team and they're proper bog standard English lumps who just kick shit out of you. They're just, first division players, just average players. You look now and there's, talent and flair in teams coming up. So I get some seasons it'll look where the gulf's massive, but this season's not one of them. This season it's not. But all the sides. Burnley bought well. Burnley have got some good players. Not being funny, Jadon Anthony, who were no good at Leeds United, apparently didn't get given no time. Isn't he leading goal scorer or second leading goal scorer in Prem? Yeah, I don't go along with it all the time. I do think as a newly promoted side, there's that much talent out there. If you just take a bit of a risk with some of them, you can bring them in and they can do really well. And tactics as well, you set up differently, don't you? You know, if you can set up to make things hard for the team. You look at Burnley, you know, taking teams who they have no right to be in a game with, taking them so deep, you know, and losing out to like, you know, Liverpool and so they're another big side in there. They just lost out to an injury time, I think, this season. What is me if DCL gets injured? Pirro and Metcher don't play like he does. No, I think Metcher's closest. Nige, he's the closest to him, but he's nowhere near his level. It was a 93rd minute. I'm not knocking Farker, but for me, I would have put Biol on it considering. But yeah, I sort of get that, and I think in another, if you could play it again, mate, I think he'd probably do that, Carl. I think that the only reason he probably hasn't is because he's coming on really cold at that point, isn't it? But that probably would have been the right move. I can't argue with that. I'm just trying to sort of wonder why he didn't do it. And I could just say because he's only played in cup game, hasn't he? And a little bit of pre-season. He hasn't done no since. Maybe that's why. No reason why we can't get a result at home every week with our support. Look, you feel exactly the same as we do about our own form, and our own form will set us apart. I can see us and you by the end of the season when you tally up your own points being probably 80% of the points you've got. And when you compare it to every other season, it absolutely smash all other sides, you know, in previous years out of the park and for years to come when it comes of how many points you get at home, because there aren't many sides have that sort of home support that we have. I mean, being with the Leeds fan, I'll say that, you know, bouncing Elland Road is more advantageous to us than what Stadium Light is to you. You'll say the same about your side. One thing for sure, great stadiums, great fan base, and ultimately as the 12th man, we have that as a club. You have that as a club, and that can be massive. Like, unbeaten at home in 3 games. We haven't been beaten at home for 380 days, 12 months, 23 home league games without defeat. That's unreal. That ain't no fluke. That's pride in your performance. That's pride in your shirt. You know, effort. A lack of a sheer desire to fight for every moment and every ball and every detail within the game. And you want that home and away, but at home with the 12th man, it's been enough to go on this run. And it's been the best run I've seen for fucking years and years and years. I can't remember last time. You know, 23 games. I think I've beaten the 22. I think I might have missed, no, I might have 21. I think I missed maybe two out of those 23 games. One of them won my wedding. But pretty much I say it all the time, Monday morning going to work pretty happy because I've watched my side, you know, win a game. And that's been the last 380 days of home games. It's been unbelievable. You know, bar Birmingham. I look Birmingham on a run of 28 home games unbeaten. We are second in the country. Liverpool are third on 20. And then I think after that, I think it might be Palace on 9. So we are currently second in England out of all the divisions of home form for our consecutive runs, and that's unbelievable to see Leeds on a run like that. And long may it continue. If we can get past Tottenham, as next one after that's West Ham, I think we'll beat West Ham. I personally think we get a point on Saturday as it stands, but I will tip a win. You know me. But then I think we beat Burnley and I think we beat West Ham. I think we get 7 out of next 9 available. At that point, we're in fucking dreamland. We get 7 out of next 9 9 available. We're laughing. We're absolutely laughing. Start looking forward instead of over your shoulder, can't you? My thoughts on Aronson as a draft excluder. We can rule that one out with alternate wall. Yeah, ones who don't jump. You know what I don't understand with that, Andy? He were too close to get up and over wall. He were never going to be able to get the shot up and over wall, right? So he's laid down there, thinking he's going to drill it, but then the wall's jumped. For me, he don't need to be laying on floor if the wall stands, knowing that he isn't going to get that up and over wall anyway. Get him in the wall, get him in and around the Bournemouth players who you know are just going to peel away and create a gap. Bang him in the wall and don't jump. And that ball just hits their ankles and goes out and just needs play on. There was no need, I don't think, for the wall to jump because he was never going to go over wall. And if he were, we were going to blast it in the rose head. So I didn't understand that. For me, Darlow, the defenders need to organise a wall a little bit better. Aronson's laid down where he's probably been told to lay down. I don't like seeing it, but again, I ain't going to blame Aronson for that. He's laid down, and if ball's 3 inches the other way, it hits him on ankles and comes back out, doesn't it? But it just, yeah, I knew it was a goal. You could see the way we're running up. We were running up. I said to my mate, he's lining this up like he's bloody John Arisa or Roberto Carlos. You knew he was just going to drill it. You could tell he wanted it. He wants stood to side at ball, thinking he was going to aim for a corner. He settled like Anton Stack, you know. You could see he was just going to nail it. And I'm just surprised the wall jumped. I really am. But over Glimt versus Spurs tomorrow night, I'm hoping for. This is what I don't do enough, Eddie. I don't look at the fixtures for Europe because I don't really watch any of football bar Leeds and match a day. Watch a bit of Sunderland when I'm doing stuff with Wayne and stuff, but I don't sit there religiously and watch Champions League football because ultimately it doesn't really interest me, apart from when it gets to knockout stages and latter end, and I'll watch semis and stuff like that. But obviously I know Tottenham in Europe, not daft like, but well, I am, but you know what I mean. But no, I forgot they were playing tomorrow and away to them too. Hopefully. Yeah, they have a few knocks, and it's not a nice game for them, but they will have a big enough squad where they can probably rotate a few. I do like the fact they're playing on Tuesday, then us on a Saturday, and it's an early kick-off Saturday too, so that will have a bit of an impact on them. Personally, don't think Stack has been that good against Fulham and Bournemouth. Wayne, I think he was good against Bournemouth. I don't know. He's getting a bit in the games where he don't wow. He's getting a bit of stick, so. He wowed against Everton and he wowed against Wolves. And then outside that, he's getting stick. I think it's just because we rate him so highly and we think he's next level, that I think if he goes through a game and doesn't look a threat in front of goal, I think people are a bit quick to say he's played poorly. I don't think he's played poorly. He just didn't stand out as much as others, if you get me. That's what I'd say on it, Wayne. But yeah, your opinion's fine. I sort of understand where you're coming from. He's played way better in some games than that, but he ain't going to be at that level all the time. And I just think sometimes, there will be other people. Okay, don't worry about Stack. Stack was sound. He did his job, but Longstaff shone. Do you know what I mean? That's how I sort of look at it. I thought when I look at the Bournemouth game in particular, Wayne, if I had to highlight anyone for a negative, I would say Ampadu had one of his poorest games I've seen in a long time, and I thought Strauch, similar, had a poorish game. Pulled out of position a few times, didn't win the header from the free kick that led to the second ball going in. But again, I ain't going to criticise too much because I was happy with what I saw overall. What's your thoughts on Perry, Matty? Darlow seems a more competent keeper. My thoughts on Perry, Brett. Perry stays on bench and Darlow plays every minute this season unless he's injured. And I wouldn't change it. Even if Darlow made a mistake, I won't change it. For me, Darlow's number one. And hopefully Perry's as good as we all hoped he'd be. We spent 13 million quid, I think, on him. Again, if you get to the end of the season, he's hardly played any minutes. You look at that and go, fucking hell, that money could have been invested on a 10, a right winger that we've, arguably need. But you need backup. You need competition. Darlow should be the backup. Right now, Darlow's a starter and he should be the starter. Strauch's in there because fortuitous opportunity came with Biol missing through suspension from cards he picked up at Udinese, misses at Everton game. Strauch gets a nod, and this is what happens when you've got good competition for players. This is what happens when you've got a player looking over his shoulder thinking, "Wow, they've signed him." Strauch knew all pre-season he was going to be back up centre back, but what Strauch done, he's put himself in the best position possible that he can to not be dropped from that side, and he's done brilliant with it. So now you've got Biol who can't get inside. You're going to have Perry not be able to get inside. There's no way at all you can bring Perry back in. So you are waiting for a calamity of a game from Strauch, a calamity of a game from Darlow once Perry's fit, for them to even be in contention. But for me, Darlow's outstanding. I always thought he was a good keeper. I always thought he was way better than a second choice in Championship. He should have come in way earlier. There's an argument he should have played all season last season before Melia got took out halfway through. He should have played all season. Darlow is a great option for Leeds United, and it's been the first time I've not worried about the goalkeeper in 4 seasons now, and that's brilliant. I kind of felt I'd feel that way, Brett, this season. We're signing Perry, but it hasn't come from Perry, it's come from Darlow. Richard, do you think West Ham go down at the end of the season? Some of them will want to come back to Leeds. No, I don't, mate. I don't. It's hard to say. I was never a huge Somerville fan. I cheered every time I scored, which was quite a lot. Don't get me wrong. I was never asked on Somerville, to be honest. So I wouldn't want Somerville back. I think we've got better options. I mean, Somerville, is he better than Okafor? We'd probably all say no now. Some would say he is. But no, he's in Premier League. He's done a few. He's had moments at West Ham, but he hadn't knuckled down and nailed a spot and done well there. So if West Ham go down, no, and he'd probably be best player in Championship then, wouldn't he? John Pye, I reckon we both stay up. Just hope it doesn't come down to the last day for Sunderland. I don't think, John, the way it's going, mate, I don't think it's going to come down last day for either of us. Twice Farken has taken Okafor off when he was starting to get into the game. Yeah, Wayne, I think it's just building his minutes up. But yeah, I agree. I don't think he should have come off again, Okafor. I think he could have played on. But it did look a little bit, I don't know if you saw it, looked like he were limping, like he had maybe a bit of a knock, but not serious, I don't think. Maybe that's why he went off, or maybe it's one of those things where he sees himself coming off, so he does a little limp as a walk off because he's a bit knackered, and sometimes that happens as well. But yeah, ultimately we conceded a 90-odd minute in added time equaliser. The team played well. Sometimes people look for excuses. I haven't seen anybody go, why didn't Stroud go win that ball? Why wasn't Stroud as hungry as the Bournemouth player who got the nod, the flick on? No one said that. You might say that. Nobody said that to me. They've all said Farkas subs. Do you know what I mean? Farkas should have done this. Farkas did wrong subs. He gave away a free kick, did Tanaka. They should have Beal in box. Well, Tanaka, he's the one that made the foul. That could have happened anyway. It's a foul, nowhere near goal. And Strauch, who's been arguably one of the best players this season, I think at times, or last season as well as a defender, he's great and he's in there on merit. He's a centre half. He's a big, strong centre half, and he didn't win that ball. So I do think because we got a negative result, the only negatives you can pull up are the subs. But I ain't going to be too much into the subs. Mate, if we started defending so early, then why hasn't Beal in as an extra defender at the end? Not the best sub. Yeah, again, I agree with, at times you need to sub on another defender. I just think because he hasn't played many minutes in this situation, that's why he didn't opt for it. But again, you just don't know, do you? For me, you've got Ampadu, the captain, who's solid at the back too, and a really good defensive-minded player. He switches off, and his man's free to kick it into an empty, well, not an empty net, but just put it past a helpless Darlow at that point. And Strauch is a centre half who got beat to the first header. I can't disagree. I actually think we'd look great setting up with a back three, back five, however look at it, with Strauch, Rodon and Beal. I'd love to see that at some point. We don't need to do it now. It's working as a 4-3-3. But there's been times pre-season, during the few games this season, where I thought I'd love to see us, like Palace do. Palace play with a back three, and Mitchell and whoever their right back is are so high up. Could you imagine Goodmanson and Beal and Bogle being our wing backs? Oh, unbelievable! But then you've got no wingers playing, and we've got quite a lot of a lot of our best players are as wingers, when they're in form. So I don't think we'd revert to that. But yeah, there is something in that. Maybe that's something that'll happen later on in the season. Beal, I think, will have to get minutes at some point because he is too good not to. But Matty, did you see the Bournemouth second goal? No, I'd gone at that point. I left on about 88 minutes, and then I literally got outside across the road. The wife, was parked in McDonald's car park for me to jump in and then drive to Manchester for a Simply Red gig. And as I got to the car, I heard a massive cheer, and I thought we've either scored or it were full time, but I assumed it was full time. Get to the car, refresh as we set off, 2-2. Absolutely gutted. Evening, my DCL question mark. What's the chances it will be ACL before Christmas? Tam, I'm confident. I'm touching wood. I am confident DCL will remain fit. I am. It's not like he's 32. He's still 28. He's still. I've just got a hopeful that his prime body at 28, his prime, will hold together. But it is a worry, mate. It is a worry, Tam. I can't lie. Michael, the way Rodon brought everybody into the huddle right after the goal, saw that after matches with Ampadu last season, this team is playing for one another. Togetherness, it's a great point, Michael. It really is a great point. You can see it. You can just see it in them. You can see it in them. The bond you have when you go through something together as a group, winning the title last season, coming from the season before of heartache, galvanising together, losing key players, going again and being the best side in the Championship and getting, record points total for a club, everything that comes of it, then coming up and being told you're shite and you're going to go back down and you've got a manager that's rubbish and all these narratives that get pushed. It just creates a a siege mentality, us against the world, and fuck you, we'll show you. And I love that about us, and you can see it every tackle, everything, high five, fist pumping, cuddling, hugging, there's just a massive unity within this squad, and long may it continue. Long may it continue, Michael. It's a great point. Right, Salaya, mate, new member. Thank you so much for joining the Imagine Not Being Leeds crew. Really appreciate you doing that, mate. Thanks so much, buddy. That means a lot, mate. Thank you. Ian, if we draw United, beat Wolves at home, 7 points in 9, that should give us enough leeway for the AFCON. Yeah, I mean, the AFCON's been hanging over you the whole time. If you're in bottom 3, bottom 5, come AFCON, you're struggling. You're not going to be nowhere near that for me, so you've done well. Hi, all. Says, I hope you're well. Wayne, in my opinion, Bamford would have been better option than Metcher. I disagree, Wayne. I disagree, but Bamford, fully fit Bamford is a good option. I just back Metcher to do more for us and be more available than Bamford. But if they were both fit and played the same amount of minutes, maybe you've got something in that, pal. That early chance in the first minute was almost like Farke's reaction to Iriola's kickoff tactics beat them to it. Yeah, no, it's right. Like you say, he mentioned in his presser that he has like some up his sleeve for starting games really quick from the kickoff. Within 14 seconds, our number 9 were through on goal with him, mate. We're class. Great point, mate. Great point. Steve Riley, the Leeds 3 home games are very dubious. Penalty against Everton, if that's not giving them 3 home games, no wins. Yeah, Steve, but if my auntie had a... She'd be my uncle, wouldn't she? It's one of them. These things will happen all season, mate. Stuff will go for you, stuff won't. Everton, we deserved the win. We deserved the win against Everton. Like, we did. Dubious penalty. It gets given one day. It's handball, it's a penalty. It goes to VAR. Enough people look at it and it gets given. And it is what it is. We deserved the win against Everton. Newcastle is a draw. And obviously Bournemouth. I mean, you see what you want. If you think Everton were lucky to get that, well, we were really unlucky against Bournemouth because we outplay Bournemouth at times and we deserve to beat Bournemouth. So on the balance of play, it levels up anyway, doesn't it? Like I say, we had one taken away from us there because we were well better than Bournemouth. Well worthy of the win. On another day, we win that game 4-1, So, yeah, you can look at how you want. And if I'm honest, three draws at home, Steve, would have been great as well. It wouldn't have been bad at all, would it? Don't take those 2 points off us now. Don't get me wrong, but Everton, Newcastle and Bournemouth, if you'd have said at the beginning of the season they'd be draws, I don't think anyone would have been too asked about it, to be honest. Well, really nervous going into the first game thinking we may lose it, you never know, do you? So I ain't gonna argue with that. But we got the penalty, we scored it. Massive moment for a new player. Puts it away under mass pressure. And, we've played 3 sides that are way, way better than the sides you've played for me. And arguably, I think if roles are reversed, we've probably got as many points as you for fixtures, in my opinion. And I think you haven't got as many as us. That's my opinion. I think Leeds will finish above Sunderland. And I think Leeds will beat Sunderland on both games, in my opinion. Michael Aronson has had as many defensive contributions as Goodmanson. Crazy, both had 6. Wow. But I do like what he's been doing going forward as well, mate. Best stats for defensive Prem: 1 Arsenal, 2 Crystal Palace, 3 Sunderland. Yeah, that'll be based on, I assume, the goals conceded, shots conceded and stuff like that. The eye test, Leeds are in brilliant. But obviously Leeds aren't going to be considered in decent in any defensive capacity at the minute when we conceded 5 at Arsenal. That's going to take weeks and weeks to thingy. But again, I would say again, Leeds will concede less than Sunderland by game 38. If that's what we're comparing here, because we've got some Sunderland fans in. Evening, a bit late tonight. Top banana, very late for me, mate. I started about 20 past 10. Wasn't going to come on, but fancied coming anyway. Tickle those likes from Matt here. Thank you so much. 53 people watching, only 30 likes. Please bang me a like on the video. It really helps get pushed out to more people. So please slap a like on. I really appreciate it. And please subscribe if you are new to the channel, which you're probably not. But if you are, bang a subscribe on. Much appreciated. Don't know if you've already said this. Our last 2 seasons, we only lost 4 games up to now. That record today. Yeah, we did, mate. Blackburn, Smodics, Southampton, Burnley. Lost to Millwall in Cup. I can't think of the other one. But yeah, 3 or 4 games in it. But we haven't lost for 380 days now at home in the league. That's proof we all see games differently. I thought Pascal was fine. Yeah, I thought Pascal was okay, but obviously he lost the header. He's got beat to the header for the goal they scored, and he got pulled out of position that first 20 minutes quite a lot, and they got in between. They got behind Ampadu, and he got caught out of position a few times. I didn't think he was poor by any stretch. But if I had to name a couple of people that I thought wasn't quite at their level, I would say Ampadu had a poorish game by his standards, and Pascal, they were probably still 7 out of 10s. But I think compared to Rodon, Stroud looked a bit off it. Compared to Longstaff, Ampadu looked off it. Not quite at his best, but still a decent performance. And I think overall it was one of the best, most enjoyable performances I've seen in a long time. And as obviously I'm not a neutral, I'm a Leeds fan, but it was a nice game of football to watch on eye, going both ways. It were 2 teams that wanted to go win game, playing a decent brand of football, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the actual game for what it was. So many times now football's become rigid, boring, robotic, shite. Let's be fair. Take me back to 90s football. Some of this shit we watch now, it's all methodical, it's all robotic, and I can't stand it. That was a really pure game of football, which I just enjoyed watching. Entertainment at the end of the day, that's how I view it. Can we not go down with Crampmore so we can have a drink of beer near the end of the game? I think Farker tells his starting wingers they're all playing. Maybe, I mean, when everyone's fit, top banana, there's a bit of competition there, isn't there? I mean, when everyone's fit, you'd like to think if Aronson say starts, which I don't think he does, but say you've got Nonto and James on bench and Harrison, there's 3 there, isn't there? They are going to bring 2 of them on. They are. So you are going to have it. 70 minutes, you're going to see a couple of wingers change, I think. Bill, Matty, at the beginning of the year, if they give us 8 points after 6, we would have chewed it. Yeah, mate, we'd have bit their arm off, chewed it, swallowed it whole, done it all, mate. Yeah, 100%. I'm happy with that. 100% I'm happy with that, pal. Can't disagree with that at all, Bill. As disappointing as it is, we haven't got more because of the situations that have eluded us. It's still a great return. Dan James, Nonto, be all struggling to claim a place has surprised me. I hope Farker doesn't over fatigue. Yeah, and it's something I've criticised Farker on the last 2 seasons. Going back 2 years when we had Jayden Anthony, for me, people will say he wasn't good enough for the Championship at left wing. He was good enough to some of the games when we had 2 games in a week, 3 games in 7 or 8 days sometimes. You cannot tell me there were games where you couldn't have benched Somerville and played Jayden Anthony. You're seeing him at Premier League level now. Yeah, it's 2 years later. People are saying, he can improve and all that. It was good enough. And we didn't play Jayden Anthony. And then by the time we got to the final at Wembley, I think Somerville was spent. They were done. And people will say, he had his head was turned. Maybe. But maybe it was just fatigue as well, So there were that. So there is something in that. We've seen it last season too. That he doesn't utilise the squad as much as, you want him to. I'd say I've seen a bit more in him this season that I do think the subs are, people say subs are still wrong based on this last performance. I think his subs have been okay in games this season. At times, he's got a couple of games where I've gone, he nailed the lineup, he nailed the subs. He's ultimately going to get it wrong sometimes. But I do think there's more options on bench for him. He's got better players. The be-all one's an hard one because you don't sub your centre-halves. Maybe you chuck an extra one on, as a few of us have said tonight, in that sort of circumstance at the weekend, which he chose not to do. But you don't sub unless you have an injury. And at the minute, there's been no need to change. And if there's one area pitch you don't want to be chopping and changing, it's that back 5. Dan James has been out of form. Currently, probably shouldn't start anyway. I want him to play through the form. I would start Dan James when fit because to be fair, I feel like we need Dan James to get back to some sort of level because it'll be so advantageous to us. He offers so much. Nonto's probably the one at the minute that I think is probably the most worthy of starting based on his relationship with Bogle too. But yeah, it's just a difficult one because when someone's come out or someone started ahead of someone, they've sort of grabbed that shirt with both hands for me, and that's what you want. and it's hard for the other player to win it back. You know, it talks about, you know, you show us in training, you get a chance, and that. I think it's quite hard in training to pip someone who's had a great game on, you know, previous Saturday. I think you obviously go off game by game, and at the minute that 11 you can't really change. Say there's only the right wing spot for me that's up for grabs, really. And again, I'd probably keep Aronson in again for Tottenham. I probably would. I actually liked Harrison when he came on, and I fucking hate saying that. And I might get stick for saying that because I really, I'm honest with you, I really didn't want to like Harrison. But I can't. What can I say? He had a good shot. He come on. He did all right again. I hadn't seen Harrison come on and have a bad game or a bad moment, really. He's doing all right. And I didn't want to like him. And I don't love him, but I didn't want to see him on pitch. I didn't. But I'll be honest with you, he's doing all right. He's doing all right. Yeah, exactly. Top banana. Playing one game a week. Recovery's decent gap in between games. We shouldn't have too many injuries for me. Or the strain on the body hopefully won't create too many injuries. You never know. We have got some people made out of glass, but we'll have to see, won't we? We need more dark arts. I agree, but I do think we've seen a little bit of that this season. I thought at Wolves we did it really well. I think we've got some players in there that do that. I think DCL is one of them. Matty, will big announcements become the norm at Elland Road this season? No, I wouldn't have thought so, mate. I wouldn't have thought so. With the exception of Arsenal, you could argue we've been better team in the other 5 matches. I would argue 4 of them. I think Fulham, no, 3. I think 3 of them. I think Fulham and Newcastle were worthy of draws, Carl. But what I'll say is we haven't been the worst side in any of the other 5. I'll say that. We haven't been the worst side in any of those 5 games. You are right. I think 3 of them, Everton, Bournemouth, Wolves, best side in all them. And I think Newcastle and Fulham, we matched them. And, you know, that's not a critique at all. Obviously, we matched them. Maybe could have edged both games on another day. But you are right. We've played really well by Arsenal, mate. We look really good. Ian Brown, it started. Can't wait for Leeds to take 6 points from us. Thing is with that, Ian, yeah, I reckon 4. We win home, draw away. Still got a fullback like Xhaka, Wrigley, probably. I know, mate, but we've got a list of players too. This is what's funny. I said that then. It's my channel. You're a Sunderland fan on Leeds. I'll say what I want. And I know it's not bothering, it's all banter. But genuinely, to put a laughing face there, because I think Leeds can beat Sunderland twice, it's a bit of a mad one. We're not Accrington Stanley. Who are they? Like, we beat you at home last season. Let's be fair. We beat you away. Melier threw it in his own fucking net. Like, over the course of the game, we beat you in that one too. Because you've bought a few new shiny toys, which we've done too, by the way, and you've had an easier start in your 3 points. You cannot laugh at the fact that I firmly believe we beat you home and away this season. I just genuinely do. I think we're playing better football than you guys with the opposition we've had. And that isn't a ridiculous statement to make. I just do. I think you stay up. I think we'll be probably neck and neck most of the season. I think you can get mid 40 points. I think we can. But I think we get 6 points off you. And you'll think the same about us, that's fine. But to put a laughing face, because I suggest we beat Sunderland twice, is ridiculous. Finished 24 points in front of you last season. Different side this season, granted, but it's not a ridiculous statement to say that we will beat you 2 times out of 2. That ain't a ridiculous statement, mate. Like I say, we're not shit. We're not championship fodder anymore. But yeah, it'll be great banter. Obviously, anybody watching now, I'm on Wayne's channel tomorrow for Bridging the Gap. Ian Brown will be there, I'm sure. I don't think you were on last one, which were weird, seems like we're a Sunderland show, but you said you were busy, which fair enough, you were driving back. But I'm on Wayne's channel tomorrow, so make sure some of my Leeds fans from here come over and give us some support over there, because it's an away day for me tomorrow over on Only Fools and SAFC, but I'll put something in my community tomorrow. I'll bang a post out. But get as many Leeds fans over to that Sunderland page as we can to back me up. Christopher Spofford Chapel, mate. Thanks so much for super chat, mate. $4.99. Thank you, buddy. You're a star. Hope that you, the missus, and the little ones are doing well, pal. Another good live, Matty. Matty is becoming the Leeds YouTuber. Go to keep it up. Have a drink on me. I'm not, but thank you for all your support. Good mate of mine now, Christopher. Thank you, buddy. You're a legend. William Morrison, how about a little wager, Ian? 50 quid says Leeds United finish higher than Sunderland for charity. Go on, Bill, lad. Go on, Bill. Go on. Love that. Promoted teams this season are definitely making the season more exciting than previously. Clem, 100%. 100%. Look at that. How do I hope missed the West Yorkshire retro game? I hope you're well, mate. I hope you're good. I'm sure you are. Ian Brown, fuck it. Go on then, William. See you at the end of the season. Sunderland 13th, Leeds 15th. You know what it is? You know what's funny? I take 15th. But right now, Ian, yeah, I think Leeds finish higher than you. I think Leeds 14th, Sunderland 15th. That's where I'm going to go. Let Matty decide on the charity. Yeah. Or it might even go into Mr. Snakebite pot. We'll see. If you had to pick one team using only Leeds and Sunderland players, starts, who makes a side? Oh. This should be something for Thingy's channel. Let's be fair, you'd pick all Sunderland players, wouldn't you? You pick all Sunderland players. I like Xhaka, who you've got. I think your keeper's good. I like Xhaka. I like Siddiqui. I like Alderete. I like Isidore. And I like you. Everyone you've named there, I like. I can't lie. But I wouldn't pick all of them to start over our team. I wouldn't pick Trey Hume on right over Bogle. Bogle's better than Trey Hume. But Trey Hume's quality. I love Trey Hume. Isidore, would I pick Isidore over DCL? I wouldn't, but I love Isidore and I would have Isidore at Leeds United, but it wouldn't start over DCL in my book. Siddiqui and Xhaka, brilliant players, but as a Leeds fan, I'd have to pick that over Longstaff and Stack, which I can't do because I think they're better players than your two. Again, I'd have them at Leeds, but they wouldn't start over Longstaff and Stack for me. They wouldn't. Alderete, I'd probably start Alderete over Strauch, I would, and Royce, your keeper, over Darlow. If I'm not being a dick, I'd probably say yes, but right now, no, because I won't pick Jordan Pickford over Darlow, couldn't he? Because he's just class. But yes, probably Royce. He's probably a better goalkeeper, and Alderete is probably better than Strauch. Outside that, I think all your best players, Sam, are in the same positions as our best players, and I would pick ours. I mean, you haven't named a winger there because I think your wingers are shite. I said this to Wayne. I think your wingers are shite. Lefay's all right, but he's more a 10. But I don't think he's as good as you thought he was. He got swallowed up when he played against Leeds United both games last season. And I think your wingers are really, really poor. I think you spent, 50 million quid on your two wingers or something. And I think you haven't got value for money there at all. I think they're so poor. I think you spent 8 million quid more on Talby than we did Okafor, and Okafor, would eat Talby for breakfast. Disappointing we're conceding 90-minute second time this season, but I'm happy with 2 of each flavour. That's it. Yeah, 100%, mate. You can't look at any other way, can you, than that? You can't. All this fighting talk with Sunderland, this needed to happen tomorrow. Bring this tomorrow game on then, yeah. Bogle over Hume any day, yeah, 100%. Defo Tam, mate. Maybe Diarra over Stack if he wasn't injured. Yeah, that won't happen, mate. Yeah, man. Sunderland lost to Burnley, don't forget that. Yeah, I mean, that's the only really bad performance I've had. But we got a Burnley in a couple of weeks, and I think we slapped Burnley up. I think we put 2 or 3 goals past Burnley and don't concede, so it'll happen. Without jinxing side, Leeds seem to have a good disciplinary record, avoiding reds. Yeah, we do. Sam, West Yorkshire retro gamer, that was our only misstep. Wrong side, early doors, can't see it happening again. Sam, you're going to get beat. We're going to get beat at times. Losing to Burnley felt a bit weird considering you had a really good start to the season. And then all of a sudden you lose that when you're like, what's going on? But these things happen. And I think if you do, if we take 6 points off and you finish below Leeds, as long as you stay up, it don't really matter, does it? But I think when it comes to the sides, I think Leeds have a better side than Sunderland, I do. You've probably got a bit more depth, to be fair, in some areas than Leeds. But again, you'd name your starting lineup, but you won't pick a Leeds player probably to play in your side. But I'd do the same, really. I probably won't pick many. Burnley had to beat us, and we brung on our shitty centre back in Sealt, who wasn't even League One quality, in my opinion. And Ballard got injured, yeah. Loving that Leeds are competitive by the Arsenal game so far. We definitely belong in the Premier League right now. Yeah, that's it. We both look We both look like we belong, don't we? We're not looking over the shoulder really at the minute, which is nice. You know, we've started off really positively. It can all change, obviously, but being competitive is one thing. We know that as a newly promoted side, that you know you just want to be competitive. You can see in both sides sort of transfer business. You know that we really improved our midfield because that's the engine room. Leeds United will win so many games just from our midfield being as good as they are defensively and going forward. Now it seems, and we're set up to be defensively sound. I wasn't sure after 3 or 4 games with Leeds United if we could still play that system, but start scoring goals. And everybody said, right, and Sunderland fans in chat now, you've got to admit, you've said, you've signed some shit players there. You've signed players with injuries. And then last couple of weeks, you can't score a goal. We've scored 5 in the last 2 games. Scored 5 goals in the last 2 games. The players you're saying are going to get injured, your DCLs, you know, Okafor, people who've had injury problems, they're not injured currently and they're playing well. And we're now scoring goals and we look really good. We look really, really good. And you know that. You know that. And you're all here on a Leeds channel. What's that tell you? You either love Leeds secretly or you just love me, which I don't mind either. Or maybe both. Because I don't think I could sit there watching a Sunderland guy for an hour and 20 minutes at 11 o'clock on a Monday night. I won't lie to you. Maybe I would, Ian Brown, if you had your channel. I do like you. You're a good guy, to be fair. And I do like the banter. I do like it. But just remember, Sunderland fans, stay in your lane. You were top at league for a long time, beginning of last season. And you all came a little bit too early. Let's be honest. Remember that. I do. Remember it really well. Reading your comments on Facebook and online or on YouTube. You'd won title after 10 games, whatever it was. You're 6 points in front of Leeds United. And I said to Wayne then, you ain't going to finish top. No, I know. And he was really level-headed. He's a really level-headed, sound guy, Wayne. But like a lot of people, I get carried away sometimes with Leeds United. If we beat Tottenham, I'll be getting my passport out. We know how it goes. But just remember who you are, Sunderland. Just remember who you are. And when Leeds take 6 points off you, you will remember who you are. Oh, I love you. Away the lads. Nordy is the top defender in the league for defence stats. And yes, wingers are not the main aim of our style, which is odd considering the money. Talby is slow. Yeah, that's what I mean. You can say they're not main aim of your style. If they weren't part of your style, then for me, you'd play with 5 at back and you wouldn't play with wingers. So they are a part of your style. They're just not standing out. Or you don't see them as part of your style because they're your weakest players. When you put your 11 out, Tam, your wingers are your worst players for me. And don't get me wrong, to have 2 wingers that I don't rate and maybe you don't rate, or they haven't quite got to the level yet and you're still scoring goals and winning games, that's brilliant. Brilliant, because there you create a spark. And for me, they're both poor players and you overspend like fuck on your wingers. And I think your wingers are so poor, but not affecting you. Because you got your midfield spot on, you got your defence spot on, you got your goalkeeper spot on, your striker. Looks like you've got that sorted as well now, you know. They've started scoring goals. Isidore couldn't buy a goal back end of last season. He's scoring goals now. You've got good players elsewhere. Sometimes you can get away with a lack of quality in certain areas. For me, your wingers are so poor. And maybe as the season goes on, that will become a problem. I do think there's something in there as well. Sunderland coming up through playoffs. You know, we were in League One a few years ago. Good side, all that. Manager. No, I think they're a bit of an unknown quantity to start with. I think people will figure it out, and I think you'll start to struggle to score goals, in my opinion. I think Leeds have got more ways of playing than what Sunderland have. I can see another month's time, you're sort of falling back to sort of where we should be as newly promoted sides. At the minute, you're flying high and you're loving it, and I'd be absolutely singing it from rooftops. How are you guys too? I'm sort of doing that anyway, and we're 3 points behind you. I'm absolutely buzzing with where we are. But I definitely think we've got more about us than what you have. I love this buy. I'm bringing it for tomorrow. I'll come on. I'll go on Sunderland tomorrow. I'll be like, oh yeah, you'll do. To be fair, I've said to Wayne before, you'll finish above us. I don't think like that now. And by the way, I think you might beat Scum. I'm saying this now, Sunderland. I think you may beat Scum, and we may lose to Tottenham. Oh, there's a massive spider on my wall. So at the weekend, calling this out, you might be 6 points in front of us. That's likely to happen. That could happen. I don't think at the weekend we're level on points. I don't think you lose and we win, you know. We could be 6 points behind Sunderland going into international break. Leeds fans, don't lose your head. I'm not saying we will be. It's a possibility. But Sunderland, we still finish above you. Still finish above you. He's a Villarreal, that's why. Tickle those likes for our Matty. Cheers, Top Banana. Yeah, 42 likes. 42 watching. Well done. I'm so happy. And to be fair, both Sunderland and Leeds will be staying up 100%, mate. I think so too. Once Farker trains our squad to be better at game management and we stop conceding after 90 minutes, we are going to be absolutely fine this season. 10 wins and 10 draws is very achievable. Yeah, I think so. I think we get more than 10 wins. We've got 2 already. I think we get more than 8 wins in next 31 games. Sunderland fans go and wind up the Irish guy. He's a Newcastle fan. How lane is he M1? Nice one. Think we need 11 points from 10 games. Nordy is so underrated. Alderete was in La Liga tots. Got to be said that Roden and Strauch are doing really well to keep out Biol and Bornau when both Joe and Pascal play in the Championship speaks well. Yeah, it does speak volumes. It does. I hope, Angela, everyone's obsessed with Leeds, Matty. We know this, don't we, love? We know this. Enzo and Talby don't play as wingers. They pull wide to create width, but they also swap sides on the pitch. It's very fluid. It will bamboozle Leeds. It won't bamboozle Leeds. And you do play with wingers. You play a 4-2-3-1 and they do play out wide, but they might invert at times and play. But they are wingers. But yes, they will cut inside and play, but they are wingers in a 4-2-3-1. And I know you're the Sunderland fan, but they play a 4-2-3-1. They're down as wingers. They are wingers. That's what they are. But they move about. It is what it is. But they're not very good. But they will not bamboozle Leeds, trust me. Our wingers are grafters, especially off the ball. Labrie prefers Lefay on the wing, who is a grafter. Same with Talby. Off the ball work, we get that. We've got that with Aronson. Lefay was a poor winger in the Championship over the course of a 38-game Premier League season. Lefay will not cut it as a winger. Just what happened. He couldn't play wing at Championship. Spuds drew with Wolves. They aren't unbeatable. I'm coming for Wayne tomorrow, you know. I'm so fucking glad I don't support Sunderland. So defensive and boring to watch, in my opinion. Go on, Top Banana. Everybody, make sure you're supporting me over there tomorrow. Because this Sunderland crew, they're getting a little bit too big for the boots, aren't they? Mike, it's nearly getting to that time of the year when Farke goes experimental in second team squad for an FA Cup game. I just think in 10 wins, 10 draws is the bare minimum we need to get this season. Yeah, it is, mate. It is. But could maybe get 11 or 12 of each, which would be excellent. Yeah, I think there'll be quite a few draws in there, like you say, 10, 11, 12 draws. There'll be quite a lot of draws in there because we are hard to beat. There'll be games where it's frustrating, we miss some chances and we haven't got that cutting edge at times. Under a certain Marcelo Bielsa, it would either, you won or you lost. We won more than we lost, obviously, but there weren't many draws in there, were there? I think maybe 1 or 2 in that title winning season. Whereas this season is probably going to be an handful. We've had a fair few already, haven't we, in 6 games? So, but hard to beat. We're now scoring goals. Happy chappy. Right, folks, I'm done in. I wasn't going to do a live tonight, but yes, I thought I'd come on because I love yous and I will missing yous. Got to agree with you from earlier, Matty. Harrison and Aronson are doing well in recent matches. Long may continue. Yeah, I can only call what I see game by game, mate. And if someone plays poorly and I'm feeling a bit shitty about it, I'll speak about it. At the minute, I can't say no bad, just because I aren't the biggest fans, and I'm not Harrison or Aronson's biggest fan at all. There's an argument that Harrison, I wish he'd have moved on. Aronson, I wish he'd have moved on before last season. Now he helped us get up. I feel differently about Aronson now, but I still don't massively rate him. But he's playing his art. He's playing he's doing well, and he's trying his best. He's working hard, and he's actually looking a little bit better with ball at his feet. So I've got to talk about the positives because that's all I'm seeing. Been almost a decade since we've been in the Prem. Have to enjoy every second, and then we just thrive for years to come out from then. Ian, honestly, 100%. If you're not happy and not throwing your weight around as a fan when you sat, 4th in Premier League, I'd say you're a fucking idiot. You should be doing that, Ian, 100%. You should be absolutely chuffed to bits, and you should be going, speaking to us, going, and having that banter, because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And when we play, you'll be dead nervous. So I'll be like, I'll probably put my neck on chopping block here, but I'm buzzing for you. And let's stick it to the man. you've got to hope you stay up first and foremost as a fan of a club. I hope we stay up, obviously. But then once we're sort of safe, I'm looking at you and Burnley thinking, come on, let's stick it to it, man. Let's all do it. Get a link in so we can all click and come to help you out tomorrow. What time is it on? It'll be 9:30, Richard, on Only Fools and SAFC. Once he makes the link tomorrow, I will put the link in my community post and put a bit of a write-up about it. So watch out for that tomorrow on my community post on here. Cheers, Matty MOT. Cheers, Ryan. Thanks so much, buddy. Andy Rowe. If we ever sold Pido, who would pay 15 million? I think somebody would. I think someone in Europe. I think maybe you loan him out for a little bit first, maybe he goes on loan next season. I don't know, but he isn't going to be a starter for Leeds in Premier League. You never know. If we struggle and go down, he'll probably start again next season. That ain't going to happen. But I'm just playing devil's advocate. We play 4-3-3. We drop to 5 at the back when defending. We go 3-5-2 in attack. You'll be dizzy trying to track it. Yous will be dizzy. See you, buddy. Great live. Cheers, Christopher, mate. Thanks for your super chat as well, mate. Love you. Much appreciated. Aina, great stream, Matty. Cheers all. Cheers, Aina, mate. You absolute legend. That'll be good, buddy. Aaron said work rate. Harrison's ball control is impressive. I'm just pleased to see the whole squad doing well right now. That's it. I can't say anything negative at the minute, mate. Which is nice after, a couple of weeks ago. Bill, we will see. You look good with the schedule you played. We would look better. Yes, Bill. Thanks for another great chat, mate. Top banana. Thanks as always, mate. Appreciate the support. Good night, all. Good night, Bill. See you then tomorrow. We are SAFC. That's when I'll start. Rooting for you. Yeah, too right, Ian. Too right. When we are safe. That's supposed to say. When we are safe, that's when I will start rooting for you. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. So he actually did just say Sunderland Association Football Club. Could be 3 claret and blue clubs going down. Unlikely, but possible. Yeah, I never thought of that. Fun catching you live as always. Have a good one, MOT. Cheers, West Yorkshire Retro Gamer. Thanks so much for dropping in. The crew will be there to help you. Cheers, Richard. You better be. I'll be looking for you. Cheers. Thanks everyone who's tuned in tonight. I really appreciate the support. Stick a like on the way out. Please subscribe if you're new here. Thanks so much. We are Leeds. We are fucking brilliant. And I'm going to play you out with a song as usual. We'll go for March on together. Night, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Here we go with Leeds United. We're gonna give the boys a hand. Stand up and sing for Leeds United. They are the greatest in the land. Every day we're all gonna say we love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Everywhere we're gonna be there. We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Marching on together, we're gonna see you in. Na 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 na. We are so proud. We shout it out loud. We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. We've been through it all together, and we've had our ups and downs. We're gonna stay with